Hey everyone, this is Tyler Shaw, and you're listening to Tobin Tonight.
So glad you made the time, Tyler, to be on Tobin Tonight. Obviously, the biggest interview, correct?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
No, don't worry. Don't even worry about it. Sarcasm goes a long way. So let's talk about this, because you've had over 25 artists. You've claimed that this was 3 weeks. You and Fefe Dobson worked on this. So take me through the process of, how'd you come up with the idea? How did you get the acts? Who reached out to who?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 weeks was the timeline. It was when Bill Withers passed away. I was on the internet just researching his legacy. Obviously came across this song, Lean on Me. And reading the lyrics, it really just jumped out at me that this was the type of message that everybody on this planet needs to hear right now, because the morale has been so low with COVID-19, taking away jobs, taking away family members, like just everything about it is just so negative. So it was an important message that I felt like the world needed to hear in that time. So right there, I decided to call my good friend Fefe Dobson, and we were talking about the idea of a collaboration, and we wanted to be, world renowned. So we wanted to get as many people on it as possible. And what better way to do that than to get Canadians? Since we are Canadians, we wanted it to be a whole Canadian collaboration. So that was all in one day where that kind of fell into place. And the next day we just started reaching out to everyone we knew in the music industry. And obviously we had Danny Reiner, who's my manager. He got very much involved as well. And Sony Music got involved, and Fefe brought the producer John Levine in, who brought Dan Cantor in, who's known for his musical directing for Justin Bieber. So a lot of the phone calls we were making, everyone was very, very excited about the project and the artist initiative that we now call Artists Can. And it just kind of snowballed from there. Once this person was in, this other person got in. Once this person was, it was a whole connection thing. And we're overwhelmed. Like, we were so happy to have everyone involved. And, I don't think we could have asked for anything more with having Justin Bieber on, Bryan Adams, Michael Bublé, Jan Arden, Sarah McLachlan, like all these amazing, incredible artists, not to mention the up and coming artists too, Command Sisters, Bad Child, like really diverse group of people. And that's what it's all about, right? Just coming together as human beings and making a difference.
And I like your answer there, because even in this time of crisis, it's like, you got your well-established Canadian acts even reaching out and kind of giving these, not quite there yet, but on the verge of being their smaller Canadian acts, a bit of a platform as well. Like, whether that's, intended, not intended, but it just speaks to the Canadian culture as well. Did you have kind of a set idea of who you wanted to include, who was going to sing certain lines, who was really your first idea person to reach out to besides Fefe?
I have a few contacts in my phone. So those were my immediate people that I reached out to. But then there was, like Brian, for example, that was brought in from the producer, John Levine, who has a close connection. And I was very, very excited about that one because I'm a big Bryan Adams fan. But yeah, in terms of recording the whole song, luckily a lot of people did sing front to back. We just placed them in where we thought where they sounded good. And then John Levine took the reins on that, which was not an easy task. But we did it, and as you hear the final product, we're super happy with it, and everyone else is too.
Were there a few acts that you maybe wanted to include, or just didn't have the time, or just they were busy with something else that you would have liked to include in there?
Honestly, like I said, I'm really happy with the final product. We did reach out to like tons more. Just timing wise, people weren't able to get back in time because it was such a short project, 3 weeks. A lot of people were busy doing other things, but the fact that it was 3 weeks and we did get who we got, just over the moon by it.
Oh no, absolutely. And again, I just mentioned it just because sometimes I know dealing with podcasting, and sometimes when we do a Christmas special, you have an idea of who you want on certain lines, and it's just right. By no fault of their own. They're sometimes busy, and it's just I just thought it'd be cool just to get your kind of perspective on it, because you did mention about Bryan Adams being included. But there was a few acts that I was just surprised that weren't in there. Now, I'm not saying you didn't reach out to them. It's just they could be busy. Chances are knowing that they were, like Lights, for example.
Yeah, we reached out to her and she was busy.
Yeah. And again, it's just interesting because when I was doing the press release, looking at the press release and just seeing who was represented by who, I was like, oh, I'm sure they reached out to these people. They're just busy, which is totally fine. And again, 3 weeks to get that many artists, like, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Now, of course, all proceeds are going to like the Canada Red Cross. You can stream it, you can view the music video, download it, or just text Lean On Me to 20222 or go to redcross.ca, Lean On Me, to get the word out, to give them some funding as well or some support.
Absolutely.
The song, though, you mentioned about Lean On Me, you did kind of get into it a little bit of why you chose it. Was there some like a specific line that just stuck out to you, or is it just like as soon as you heard it, you said, this is it, this is the song that we're going to do?
I think it was just the overall message. Like, you have the chorus, lean on me when you're not strong. Like, that pretty much sums it up. People right now are not feeling their strongest. And the message, in my opinion, you should be able to lean on each other no matter what, especially time of crisis like this. Obviously not physically, but we're there virtually. We're there emotionally, and people need to remember that. With technology nowadays, it's so easy to pick up the phone and call someone, FaceTime, Zoom sessions with family, text messages. Like, it's easier than it ever has been. We're not writing a letter and waiting 5 days for one letter to come, and then you have to write back another 5 days. It's that easy.
I watched the video. I like how everyone kind of, it's a little bit of a surprise when you see certain people come on and sing and do their part, and you just get amazed at like, oh, well, this act's included in it. This is really cool. And the fact that, it's all going towards a greater cause. And I guess a little bit more to stroke the ego there, Tyler. Your birthday was like just earlier in April, and this is what you came up with for like, instead of going like, yeah, it's my birthday, you were like, now let's think of other people. So congrats to you on that. Because if it was me and it was October, I'd be like, yeah, I want to do this, but I'm also going to turn 29, almost 30. So I'm probably going to focus my little birthday on that. But happy 27th, buddy.
Thank you very much.
So I mean, I know it's all in COVID, but like, did you have any plans? Did you have any like big, or did you just sit and mope around watching Big Bang Theory like me? No.
No, well, obviously, I was going to throw out a house party, but obviously that didn't happen. So my wife baked me a chocolate cake, and I sipped on some whiskey that I purchased earlier this year and was saving specifically for our birthday to share with people, but didn't get the opportunity to do that. Yeah, it was very low key, but definitely one to remember since it was such a unique situation.
Absolutely. I mean, I hope we didn't have like a live good thing we weren't streaming at that time, a live shot of Tyler just sitting on a couch, like, face buried in chocolate cake and just, just bawling his eyes out like no one came to my birthday. It's like, Tyler, don't worry about it.
None of that, no.
Now, of course, just to get into a little bit of the personal side here as well, with your career, you were raised in BC. Tell me about growing up there in BC. What was that like?
Oh, man. If you've ever been to Vancouver, the vibe. I definitely took it for granted growing up. I never thought I would leave. So, walking outside, I lived on the side of a mountain. I know it sounds really weird, but like once you think of it, I grew up in a town called Coquitlam, and it's kind of like a valley, but with like, it's a suburb. There's a city, there's a mall, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but I was on the side of a mountain. So I'd walk out and literally look at snow covered mountains most of the time. And, I took that for granted, breathing in the fresh air, took that for granted too. Because in my opinion, there's no fresher than there is in Vancouver. My parents are still there. My siblings are still there. All my best friends are still there. So it will always be a home. I've been in Toronto now for 8 years, and this is home too now. It's a beautiful city, and there's nothing, you can always do something. So there's no shortage of fun, and especially being in the entertainment industry, this is the spot to be. For Vancouver, growing up, like, it will always be a positive memory. I'm
going to debate you a little bit, but in a friendly way, because you can claim that Vancouver has the mountains and has the great air, but I'm going to argue that from the other side of things, from the other coast, Tyler, Newfoundland has the water, has the sea,
absolutely,
has all that. And I'm just wondering, because it says here that you found a guitar under a staircase at age 13, started writing your own songs. So whoever left that guitar, clearly it went in the right hands afterwards.
Yes.
But 19, sociology at University of PEI, that's a long way from BC, my friend.
Yes, I did go coast to coast. It was mainly for soccer, though. I was on a small soccer scholarship.
Okay, yeah. And it's just interesting. So we could have been talking about this with Tyler Shaw, the soccer star.
This is true. That was definitely the dream. I'm not going to lie. That is definitely something I wanted to pursue and was in the motion of pursuing. But then, the music thing came up and I had a passion for it and decided to go for it at that time. And I'm really glad I did, because I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah, and it's just a funny story how that all came to be, because I've got it written down here, you're in your first year, so it was your roommate, I think it's Kyle Dutton.
Yeah, Kyle Dutton.
Oh, Dutton, there you go. Just kind of suggested to you about this Much Music cover contest for 2012 there. And you sent in a few covers, kept on going along the way. Does Kyle bother you a lot and say yo, you're coming to town, I need some concert tickets, or yo, I set you up here, where's my piece of the cake?
No. He's actually still one of my best friends. He was my best man at my wedding in 2018. Yeah, we've been super close ever since high school. So he's over in Europe right now, doing his thing, studying, and we keep in touch a lot. But he's not the type of person that would ask for a piece of the cake, right? Yeah. Every time I see him though, I obviously first round's on me.
Oh, well, good, because I was going to be if I was your roommate back then, you'd just see me constantly doing press interviews, that Tyler Shaw guy, I discovered him first, I was the one who told him to do this, and then they'd be yeah. I'm so sick of this guy, and I'd be no. I get credit here. Yeah. I'm just kidding. So, of course, you had some songs out that are still actually on my iPhone, and I actually promoted them with one of the episodes on Instagram. I think you've seen it. I had the Kiss Goodnight, Wicked, Cautious, all great songs.
Thank you.
But just tell me, the thought process of writing these songs and, what they mean to you, because, again, they kind of led to you getting, Juno nominated as well.
The older songs, I'm trying to remember where my head was at. I'm staring at my Kiss Goodnight gold certified plaque right now, trying to remember what the inspiration was. And all I can think of is my wife. That was pretty much written shortly after meeting her. So a lot of inspiration, it comes from love. And, I've been in a relationship for, I want to say 8 years now. And, in my opinion, not every relationship is perfect. So you go through the ups and downs, and thankfully, I have an outlet and a platform where I'm able to write about it. And, hopefully I'm honest enough in my lyrics that people think it's relatable and true. So a lot of the songs that I write come from personal experiences. But for a song like Cautious, it's usually taking not a made up situation, something that's happened in my life, but just putting a Hollywood spin on it to make it more dramatic, if that makes sense. No,
absolutely. To bring it full circle here with the interview, when you're doing the song there for Lean On Me, the one thing that really came across my mind was when you got all these artists to come together, was there any kind of friction? Because you got a lot of these big name stars. Were there any ones really concerned about certain parts that they were going to do, where you were going to place them, or anything like that?
No, thankfully not. We did have a conversation though, we were so happy that everyone set egos aside and set, I can't remember, what am I trying to say here? The pedestal,
their own standards, I guess.
Exactly, the status. It was all none of that. We came together as human beings. We came together as people, as Canadians, for the initiative to raise funds for the Canadian Red Cross, fight COVID-19. And that was it. There was nothing in between, nothing on either side. That was the whole point.
Where do you want to see this Lean On Me go? What's your goal or your expectations for the song?
Obviously to make a difference and to help people. What the Canadian Red Cross is doing with the funds is, creating the proper protective equipment for the frontline workers and for those who need it, putting food boxes on tables for families that need it, helping people financially who need it. Those are just to name a few things, but they're doing a lot more than that. So I hope and I assume that this is going to do well because of the amount of people who are on it and the amount of support it has, and the end goal and the initiative. And I'm seeing my wife go into the hospital every day to help people. And I wanted to make a difference. So I decided to do this. And I'm glad I did, because now it's not just me going on Instagram Live every week. It's actually raising substantial amount of money for those who need it in a time of crisis.
That's going to do it for this episode of Tobin Tonight. Our thanks to Tyler Shaw for coming on the show. Remember, you can find past, present, and future episodes on TobinTonight.com, Spotify, and iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and leave a comment or two. For Tobin and myself, this is Jacob saying, thanks for listening, and good night.